Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Friday, October 4th, 2019. I'm Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Happy Friday, everyone. We just had the NFP report come and go here. The NFP report showing a 136,000 jobs added to the economy there, and price initially popped on that news here. Price was a little bit lower and initially pushed a little bit downward and then bounced back toward 29.20. Very solid bounce here so far, but intraday double top here to watch. One thing's for sure here, we got a pretty significant drop over the last 2 days, starting with the previous high failure and the outside day, and that led price right down to the 200-day, which is exactly what we talked about before. How price would come down and drop into the zone as it has several times over the last few months. And after yesterday's intraday reversal, which over the last few times it's been overnight, these have been overnight rejections that turn into day-long recoveries. This was an intraday rejection that led to a continuation the rest of the day. Price eventually went all the way back to the midpoint of the sell-off day. Very, very sizable day there. And now the expectation is for follow-through over the next 1 to 5 days here after this day yesterday. So we saw 3 days higher and it was back up. Over here 2 days higher is back up. This is about 5 days higher, it was back up pretty quickly. And so the idea is that we snap back toward the 29.50 to 29.75 zone very quickly, and that could play out over the next 1 to 5 days. Overall, that is a short-term idea. You know, every time it's pulled back to the 200 here and rejected, you've had a short-term reversal back up. But this also could be a strong anchor point for the end of the month, or perhaps the end of the quarter and the end of the year. So this could be a very strong anchor point here that could not only be a buying opportunity on a short-term basis, but it could end up being a great buying opportunity throughout the end of the year as well, if certain things play out the right way. So again, this is a good pullback here, a good strong rejection in the previous day. The expectation is for a bounce back higher, back toward say 29.60, 29.75, and with a shot to continue higher into the end of the month and perhaps the rest of the year. So this is a pretty strong pullback. We'll see if the market can hold on to these gains in advance. Here is a look at the NQ. The NQ is trading 76.70 right now, also reacted positively to the NFP report. Again, this one rejecting the 200-day yesterday. So price pushed down into it. Let me show a little bit more chart here. You can see again, every time price has tested the 200-day recently, it's been a buying opportunity. Ever since you had the change of bias here back in February, late January, price pushed through the 200, made it support, and ever since then when it's come back to it, it has been bid here, 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 and here. So really it's only spent minutes, maybe a couple of hours down below that level, but mostly probably minutes below it the last 3 times, and it's bounced back up very nicely. So again, expecting for another bounce to occur, perhaps back towards 7,800 as a quick swing, but more than likely back toward the 7,900s, and that again could be how this thing plays out by the end of the month. But by the end of the year, do we also see a continuation through 8K based off of this pivot low? So right now showing a strong rejection. Expectation is for more upside here unless price fails to hold 7,500. Okay, let's take a look now at crude oil. Crude oil trading 53 bucks right now. 53 is a very important level. In the previous session, we gave out the 53 level, and then I mentioned before, if it takes out 53s, it opens up 50 half, this support zone down here. And it appears price got one tick below 51, 50.99 yesterday, and then started to reject. It did hit the key level here. That was a CLVN at 51.19. It's bounced each of the last many times off this zone. So you can see this is the beginning of January right here, that's when it finally got back above it, and it never got back below it, bouncing 3 times there, 4, 5, 6, and now 7 times off this zone this year. Didn't quite get to the 50 half, but it did get below 51 into the 50 even zones. And again, that was enough to bounce this thing in the previous session. A pretty solid rejection from multiple time frames, whether you're looking at the 15-minute chart, 60-minute chart, or even the daily. You got a nice tail at the bottom of the day and a continuation into the close. Right now, higher high, higher low so far playing out. Is this going to lead to another bounce back up? Very similar to what we saw last time right here. You had the rejection, you had the kind of hold day there, and then it just continued higher over the next few days. We will see if there's more upside. Again, as I've talked about with crude oil, the seasonality tendency is for this thing to go lower heading into December, but any bounce could be a selling opportunity. So even if this thing does bounce, perhaps this could provide a better opportunity to sell it for a continuation down. Through the 50 half level, it opens up the next support zone down, which is about 42 half. Lastly, taking a look at gold futures. You'll see with gold that we are forming a potential lower high here. This is very important. You have this high, and now you have this high. You have this rounded behavior. You could also call it perhaps a flag pattern, but this is a very clear, tightly compressed pattern here. We talked about the 1520 level in the pre-market report yesterday. Basically, if price can't get below that level, then what starts to happen? Because you start to show some lower highs here, and if it fails to hold there, then 1490 will become very, very important, because below 1490 opens up new lows. We could be trading 1440 very quickly. That's the FOMC key level from July 31st. It's basically a naked level after its ticket bid. It never came back to test it. So this could provide that little pullback opportunity here. Above 1525 been a big time key level for a very long time. We're testing it here for the first time in 6 years. So through that level, again, continuation to the upside. It's basically the previous month's high, low, close, and mid. Very, very important. You can see the previous close here and previous low of the month. If it's going to reject there, then the midpoint becomes the target. That's 1518. And then through 1518 opens up the previous high. So those are the key levels to watch. Failure here, you retest the low with a shot at new lows into 1440. Alright, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out the rest of the session. Happy Friday. Good luck. Trade well. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.